basil. And there it is. There she blows. Check out the bottom. It's not real woody, like almost. But strange for mint that it's just one base like that. They don't really clump. But, you know, opposite leaves. Is it square stem? No, yeah. Weird. And these kind of rounded leaves. Is that ovate-ish? But rounded, pretty distinctive once you know them. There's a few different types. We got this one, the Thai basil. And it's a little past it, or some of those leaves are. It looks like the tulsi, it looks like the holy basil. Green light always makes people get on their knees for this one, especially if you haven't ever had a fresh flower before and just And so this one's similar to the holy basil. It looks a lot like the holy basil. They'll have these purple flower heads. Interesting little flowers. These little rings on the spike. They form these little black seeds. There's some uses for the seeds. I'm not as familiar. We're gonna look at a couple of these because there's a bunch of different varieties too, so it's kind of hard to say you know what all the basils are doing. The holy basil for sure, the tulsi is by far the best. It's depending on what you need, but has the most medical uses. We'll say that. It's like a sacred plant in India, and it's from kind of India and Iran. It's been used for about 5,000 years. And so yeah, you have the holy basil. Is that basilikum something? The regular basil is that one, basilikum. Let's check it out. What is the Ocimum? Ocimum basilicum. Basilicum? Like basilicum? Like basilisk? Totally like basilisk. Used to be spelled the old Latin, it was spelled with a K, it was spelled like basilisk. And that's because it was known as being an antidote for basilisk venom and any type of snake, really. But yeah, really awesome for that. You use the leaves and the roots for snakes or spider or like wasps, scorpions, and apparently eating the leaves will make it not hurt, but a combination of the roots and the leaves helps pull out poison and treat that. So that's pretty rockin' right there, and is in the name. Though it's similar to this thing with the French about the king, and it's got a thing about being the king's herb. It was really pretty highly revered by a lot of people. You know, it was the Egyptians and someone else, maybe the Hindus, definitely Egyptians and someone else, that would put it in the mouth of a dead person, someone moving on to the next place so that they could reach the heavenly realms. Someone put it in the hand. There's one culture, maybe European. Someone put it in the hand. A few people put it in the tongue. It's interesting. Different people in different places. Still, there's this part of the ascension to a heavenly realm as you pass on. And that in some form, basil is involved in that. So that's kind of interesting to me. Also, but during life is also helpful for a lot of things. Highly antibacterial. That's on my staff list. It's been on a lot of my lists lately. Also, really anti-inflammatory, so that's nice. Or just anti-inflammatory, so that's good for everything. But antibacterial and helpful for things, E. coli, all kinds of things, but specifically antibiotic resistant, kind of drug resistant infections. This one's pretty helpful with. And parasites too, just kind of keeping the bugs out. So that's pretty cool. And all different kinds of bacterial things, although they're interesting. It's interesting in the sense that it's really kind of rough on the bad bacteria, but helpful for creating good bacteria, which not everything is. Some things just kill all the everything and they just don't care, and this one seems to help produce beneficial bacteria while killing out unhelpful bacteria. So that's pretty cool. Apparently it's like 99% or something of the bacteria in your mouth. Just trying to pick a piece. I did, but that's not a good example. Let's show off these tops. So you can see it's a really distinctive plant. I haven't been doing that enough, just showing off the plant. It's all this face talking about stuff. Who cares? Yeah, really soft, not hairy at all, and rounded. Very rounded. It's a very unique structure to this one. The leaf pattern's like a mint, but the base is not at all. So that's pretty cool. There's also some things, cardio, that it's gonna help keep the arteries clear, that kind of stuff. Kidney stones, apparently it's helpful with. Some people use it to quit smoking. The chewing apparently is helpful, and the chemicals help clean you out from smoking specifically, and is supposed to inhibit, and it's supposed to work pretty well on cancers of the skin, a few different types. But yeah, whatever. There's a few different versions that it's supposed to help. Gum disorders, also like ulcers, things like that. I got a kind of a sore in the top of my mouth from chocolate. I got stabbed by chocolate. It's supposed to be helpful with those kind of things. Eye disorders, you can make like a wash with it. Anti-inflammatory, a little bit of a detox. It's helpful for the liver. Gum stuff. Oh, aphrodisiac, for sure. And that's an interesting one that we gotta know for sure. It's good because it's Italian. This is part of the Italian blend, like oregano and basil. It's just great when you get sick. But in general, the Italians are claiming it as an aphrodisiac. And like, we all know that the Italians know, like an aphrodisiac in Italy, it's like, yeah, they would know. Apparently that's a thing. So yeah, all kinds of things, and headaches, it's kind of another nice one too, just like when you're achy, when you're sick, it's nice. That Italian blend with some curry, I feel like it's just kind of good for the whatever, and probably isn't going to hurt it. This seems to be pretty helpful for a lot of things, and really nice that it's got some digestion stuff. Also, respiratory, so that's pretty nice. But that it's helpful with digestion, and that it's helpful for the good bacteria while cleaning out the bad. that's pretty awesome. Now, a lot of people have been really into basil. I've never been really into basil. Although the holy basil, the Tulsi, that was the first thing I got off the internet when I could order things off the internet, and I searched all over and I found this thing and it just seemed like the best thing. It was a blend of all three of the holy basils. They got all different, it's a great list, it's amazing. It's so many things that it helps with. You probably need it, especially the three and balancing all the doshas and this and that. It's wonderful. You need some, get some. I feel like Amma is really into it, right? And I get was it Organic India? I meant to grab a packet because I have some of those tea bags, but also I have some seeds. And if you buy seeds, you have a lifetime supply for like half the price of a box of tea. But I got both. I'm gonna grow some inside. Apparently it's good like that. It's a good herb that you can, grow in a windowsill or something, or even apparently in basements with a light. So I'm gonna work on that. I'm not great at indoor plants. I haven't been, but I'm gonna work on this one. Apparently it does well. And yeah, even in a basement, and kind of sometimes appreciates it because it's not the strongest plant structurally. And even the cold, it likes the warmer climates. It's one that's basically an annual, but possibly perennial. Kind of like the oregano. If it's warm enough, it might come back, but probably annual. A pretty wonderful little plant. I'll show off that structure, that too, again. I gotta do it over and over. You gotta, each one, as you take it, if this is still attached, you take this big leaf. At the bottom of the big leaf are all these little leaves. Let's just take all these on this one while I'm at it, and I'll show you. So when you come in and you harvest these, and you have to, because basil gets so thick, and you're like, what are you gonna do? We're gonna make pesto, because so much basil. See, now each one of these, there's two leaves here, and then there's another one right in the middle. There's actually two in the middle of that. So each time you pick one, and then there's two, and then you pick those two, and then there's two more, and it just keeps on going and going. And a lot of times I'll come in, if you big leaf it and tip it, you're gonna feel like you took off most of the growth, but there's all this stuff ready to come, and now it's got room. It gets all the sunshine, it's got room to grow. I gotta pick a bunch of that on that big one. I'm gonna get way more into this one, and that's great because I need a bunch of the stuff that it's doing. So I haven't really dried it. I've added some to my blends. I just noticed when I walk around, if I walk around getting a handful of herbs, by the time I'm ready to chop them up, they all get black, and there's something to do with blanching it. If you're gonna save it and you want more of the nutrients, that you hot blanch it first and then freeze it. I don't know. I'm trying usually not to hold this stuff in my mouth while I'm talking. I feel a bit rude about that. But this one apparently is good, and I got a sore in my mouth, so I'll do that for a second. We're done here. Basil, thank you. Into it. It's wonderful. It's one of those simple ones. You might overlook it, but it's actually really, really helpful for a lot of things. Might be good for something that you got. Thank you.